It's Black History Month. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today, for this Black History Month, it is I, your blackest host, Justin.
And it is me, your not black host, Derek.
Wow. We have so much to talk about. Unfortunately, because it's Black History Month, we kind of scared our one white representative, Steph, away. So we had to cover the big guns. We have so much to talk about. We had to bring in an expert white representative. So I now introduce to you one of our good friends, Nathan. Welcome to the show. And he's muted. No.
Oh, sounds about white.
Am I still muted?
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
We did it.
Welcome to the show, Nathan.
I'm happy to be representing white people as they should be, as thoroughly incompetent from the beginning.
I promise he is not incompetent. He's been on the show before. For people that don't know you, where can the people find you if they like what you're talking about today?
I'm on pretty much every platform as the favoring win, but particularly you can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, perfect. Because I don't know about you guys, because last week was absolutely like crazy with news. So we have a lot to talk about. We have to get started. We're going to talk about Epstein files. We're going to talk about the Grammys, all that stuff. But we have to start off. Did I say, did we have to fart?
We have to fart.
We do. It's got to happen.
Let's go.
Oh, gosh.
I've been waiting for this.
We have to start off with one of my favorite segments. It is called Quick Hitters. Nathan, have you done Quick Hitters with us before?
I don't believe I have.
Interesting. All right. So I'm going to go through some stories that don't deserve an entire show, but we have to talk about them. And you're going to either give it a thumbs up and thumbs down and a quick thing of whether you're into it or not. Does that sound good to you?
My thumb is ready.
All right. We
Epstein
have to talk
Island,
about...
go. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Wait, right now? Oh, geez.
No, it was just a test. Just a test.
Just
a test.
Speaking of being tested, all of our emotions were tested last week when Catherine O'Hara died unexpectedly. She was born in 1954 and died January 30th. Nathan, is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I love Catherine O'Hara, so her death has to be a thumbs down, which feels like such a trite way to memorialize her. I would like to say about the death of Catherine O'Hara, thumbs down, big L for the world.
Derek, what do you think? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
This is a major thumbs down, man. I haven't felt this sad since this one Christmas where I got in a huge fight with my whole family and they sent me to bed early upstairs, and then we were supposed to go on a Christmas trip, and then everybody woke up late, and since I was upstairs, they forgot about me. I haven't felt this sad since then, you know. And then actually the year after that, believe it or not, the same thing almost happened. It didn't. But when we got to the airport in the craziness, I got on the wrong flight, and I got lost in New York.
Yeah, and you became good friends with Donald Trump. That's what happened, didn't it?
You know, I was just trying to have some fun here, okay?
Listen, we will decide whether or not Derek is in the Epstein files later on in the show. But yeah, Catherine O'Hara passing is really, it's very unfortunate. But then again, she was 71. So it's not like she had a good run.
71's that's only like 2 years older than my dad. That's kind of young. I mean, it's not young. It's not die of old age old. Because I think what I read was that she got sick, and it was one of those like sudden illnesses things.
Sudden. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Here's the thing. I don't want Catherine O'Hara to die. But then I'm like, well, she was old. It's okay. She was 71. She had a great one. one of the few people in Hollywood that we can call an actual legend, I will say. So rest in peace, Catherine O'Hara. This also is a thumbs down for me. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sheesh, people, I'm not a monster.
Yeah.
But speaking of monsters, the Grammys happened last week. Not last week, yesterday. Raise your hand if you watched the Grammys. Derek, you actually did? Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I caught up.
Okay. Which is
Haven't seen
great. We
any
had a
since
couple
last season.
surprises. You wait, really?
Well, no, I said I
Oh
haven't seen the
man.
Grammy since last season.
Ah, that's rough. That's rough. It's okay because I'm gonna tell you like a couple of big things that happened. Bad Bunny won Album of the Year, which is pretty good, and Cher pronounced the wrong name during the ceremony. Kendrick Lamar.
Understandably.
I
Understandably.
don't know. No, it's not
Yes.
okay. I
Yes.
understand why she did it, but Cher, come prepared.
She's
Okay,
old. She's old, bro.
see, doesn't mean she's Catherine O'Hara. Come on.
And
Anyways.
she's gonna see she's gonna just see a black guy won, in her head. A black guy won. The name of the song was Luther. So she's just gonna say Luther Vandross won, it is what it
No,
is.
I mean, listen, Cher, I understand why you did it, but I think it's very funny. But also, really,
Yeah, get it
Cher,
together.
really,
Get it together.
Luther
Yeah.
Vandross. It reminds me of speaking of like Catherine O'Hara, it reminds me in Beetlejuice, when people were really mad at Tim Burton for not having black people in his movies. And he's like,
Yeah.
guys, don't worry. In this next movie, there's going to be tons of black people. I got it. And it was the
Yeah.
wackest black reference. It was like the
It
only
was
black
Soul
thing he
Train.
could think of was a canceled black TV show from the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But it's
It was the
okay.
longest running show ever, I think.
True. Nathan, the Grammys 2026. Are there anything that was a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Like anything from the outfits or something?
Oh yeah, I
Or
think
any snubs?
I have no idea who won anything, so I can't comment on the snubs, but I give Chapel Roan's viral outfit a thumbs up because that henna look was incredible. And I'm going to go ahead and give a thumbs up to Trevor Noah's joke that currently has him in trouble with the president.
Oh gosh. Let me
Mm.
pull up Chapel Roan's outfit that hopefully will not get us demonetized
Just
on
one that
The
shows her
henna.
back, not her front.
The henna was the
Uh-huh.
best part
Uh-huh.
of it.
Absolutely.
Derek,
Yeah.
is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
The Grammys in general, I think is a pretty strong thumbs up from me. I think it's been a few years at this point where the Grammys tends to be the most uh diverse cultural of the awards in award season. Um, this year I think has continued that, and it's become this year was a historical Grammys with Bad Bunny winning Album of the Year for a non-English album. I think that's really cool. So yeah, it's a major thumbs up. As a Spanish speaker myself, uh, estaba buenísimo este Grammys, and that was terrible timing with what's on screen right now. But it is what it is.
I feel like Chaperone's outfit is just it feels really on the tip. I mean, on the nose. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot to talk about with this outfit because there was not a lot of outfit, to be honest with you. I mean, uh, to each their own,
Yeah,
like dang, bold. I'm not saying she
yeah,
looked bad. She looked cold. I mean bold. I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's
No, I get what you're saying. Like the what is it? Jokes aside, it feels like it should have landed more than it did. Maybe this was like a Met Gala look or something, or like somebody said VMAs, right? I think so.
right.
Yeah, I think it was a cool look. I liked it, but I also liked the dude that wore like that mask. I forgot. I don't remember who it was, but he wore like an all black mask. That was pretty cool.
Was that the villain
Um,
Black Mask?
Black
Is this
Mass
at the
won a
Grammys?
Grammy. Yeah, I mean Here's the thing. I feel as though the only way to make a mark on your Grammy outfit is to like kind of show some skin nowadays. And that's
Mhm.
okay. That's awesome. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. No hate, no judgment from this. But it's like when there's so much skin, it's like there's no outfit. There's nothing to say. It's just
Yeah.
she has it off or on. You know what I'm saying? Other notable things that happened. The first K-pop group won a Grammy, and they're not real. K-pop Demon
The
Hunters won a
song,
Grammy
yeah.
for Golden,
Thought
which
you were
I
about
think
to
is
say
very
that an
interesting.
AI K-pop group had won.
They're not AI, but Huntrix is not real. But people wrote Golden and they won, and that's cool. But it's like, interesting. No other K-pop humans have won. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, I think it's. I think for the most part, it was a pretty good ceremony. Another thing that happened that we want to talk about for quick hitters is that Trevor Noah hosted for the 6th time this year, and he had a couple of jokes that I would argue landed to the people that were supposed to land on, if that makes any sense. And the people were not happy, as our president was not happy, but who wants to make him happy now? Nathan, the hosting of Trevor Noah, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I love Trevor Noah. I always think he's funny. I think he's got great charisma. I'm always happy to see any jokes that he delivers, even the crappy ones. Like even if it's like not a great joke, I'm like, there's something about the way he said it I'm happy with. So the one that I saw this morning was the Greenland joke. I was like, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Oh, it was brutal. But let me pull up the Nicki Minaj. So, Derek, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Other than pulling this up.
Thumbs up. I love Trevor Noah in general. Like he's one of those dudes where if he ever gets canceled, it's gonna be heartbreaking for me. You know what I mean? Because I think he's so funny and he feels so genuine and real from with everything he does. And that's rare when it comes to like Hollywood and the entertainment business. Everybody seems full of shit to some degree. I just really like him. You said he hosted like 6 or 7 times already at this point. He should just host forever. This should be a gig for him, you know?
Interesting. Let's hear what he had to say.
Is not here. She is not here. She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. Trevor Noah totally.
Ugh, dang it. The clip was gonna say how Donald Trump thinks he has the biggest ass and not Nicki Minaj, but that's beside the point. I do think I think this segues into our next topic perfectly, and that is Nicki Minaj becoming full on MAGA, which is like not weird because anyone who's been following Nicki Minaj for a minute saw this coming from a mile away, unfortunately.
She's been weird for a while now, yeah.
She's been weird, like real combative and real weird. But most notably, she went to the White House. She went to a Turning Point USA conference where she got interviewed by Erica Kirk, and she got a fake Trump gold card. For listeners that are listening, these Trump gold cards are supposed to like give you like instant immigration status or like instant citizenship.
Resident status, yeah.
And they made a whole thing about giving Nicki Minaj one, and it was a fake one. And mind you, Nicki Minaj is not a U.S. citizen. Derek, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I mean, good for her. She's paying her bills. She's paying her bills. She's clearly broke, right? She's got probably attorney's fees from her husband and brother that are predators. She's just doing what she's got to do, Like, what else is she gonna do? Go back to making music that nobody really likes, right? Like,
Dang.
What's crazy to me about all of this, politics aside, for once,
Right.
is just seeing how far Young Money has fallen off, right? Because
they used
Nicki
to be
Minaj,
so cool.
Yes, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, and Drake used to be the musicians, right? They were at the top of their game. They were at the top of the charts. They were at the top of music, right? For some time there. And, to see where they're all at now, they're all they're fine, right? They've got money. They're rich. They're doing okay, I guess. But from like a zeitgeist right? Pop culture perspective, right? They have fallen off so hard. And I'm sure it is a bruise to their egos, right? Because hip hop in general is just built off of this idea that I'm the best and, ain't nobody better than me, whatever. And you see Drake now, and he's putting out music that is, not getting any sort of attention
Wait,
in the day to day. Go
wait,
ahead.
I've been unconscious for the last 2 years. Did something happen with Drake?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Well, beef aside, right? Like the Kendrick beef aside, right? Like he's still putting out music. He put out on a whole album with like a DJ, like it was like a a collab album or whatever, and it just didn't do shit. Wayne put out on a whole album, and it was an album. Like there's not much more that can be said about it. And Nicki
Dang.
Minaj hasn't done any music for some time, and I think she was on that Wayne album, right? But really, she's just more known for like being this anti-vax conspiracy theorist weirdo that is now just full-blown MAGA. So it's wild to me to see these people basically in different stages of the alt-right pipeline, with Nicki Minaj being the leader, right? She's the first one to fully convert to MAGA.
I would say that Kanye has her beat for a couple of years.
Oh no,
but
I'm talking about Young Money. I'm talking about Young Money specifically.
Young Money? Oh, specifically. Oh,
Yeah.
But then Lil Wayne was
Wayne-
trying to get that pardon from Trump.
He got a pardon, but he hasn't full blown been like, all right, I'm in politics now. Nicki Minaj is like, I'm grifting. She's full blown embraced it.
I think it's interesting whenever the right or Republicans in general like latch on to hip hop figures and like try to convert them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, see, this person agrees with me.
Look,
this
one black
person.
friend.
But
Yeah.
also, they're never not the best, but the hottest black rapper or artist.
Never.
They never are. It's always
never.
someone who's fallen off for a little bit, for a couple years, who hasn't had a stamp on the culture in a minute, but did. And then either they don't care or are there for the check and then just get like pummeled by their own community. But like, it's never a current black person.
It's very much
weird.
It's very much them looking for a token. I think the last person that did something like this was Ice Cube back in the pandemic. He was kind of like,
I would argue and say
skeptical.
no to Ice Cube. He was vaccine
skeptical,
hesitant.
Yeah,
we don't know if he ever got the vaccine. But
right.
I would hesitate to put Ice Cube in the Republican category.
Oh no, absolutely. So that's where I was going with this, where they were trying to be like, see, look, Ice Cube is hesitant about vaccines. And then almost like immediately, same day, Ice Cube was just like, man, fuck everybody. Like, you can't voice an opinion without somebody trying to claim you. Like, hell no. He's definitely not full blown like MAGA either. He released a song called "Arrest the President."
You're not gonna mention his most famous song with NWA.
Yep.
Oh gosh. That is to say, his most famous song with NWA is "Fuck the Police." Perhaps you've heard of it, Nathan.
His solo album, what is it? America, with the spelling, a very particular spelling instead of a C, 3 Ks.
Yes. Nathan, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you?
The Nicki Minaj of it all is a thumbs down, but the specific topic of Ice Cube is a thumbs up.
Makes sense. Speaking of failed rappers, did you guys hear that Kanye West has issued an apology to the Jewish community? He took out a full-page ad in a newspaper to say how his brain injury from a couple of years back has altered his brain chemistry, and because he did not take his medication, he lashed out at his family, his fans, and the entire black community and Jewish community. Nathan, do you believe Kanye West? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I would quicker believe that the sky has turned orange than believe Kanye West about anything. I think
Wow.
that saying that it's the cause of something a couple years ago is nonsense, since he's been acting like this for the last 10 years. Every awful thing that's come out of his mouth or that he's supported is not an aberration, but is on track with consistent behaviors that have repeated themselves for at least a decade. He clearly does struggle with a lot of things, personal, psychological, that he absolutely is and should seek more help for. But at this point, I think continuing to platform him in the public space is a borderline sense of abuse from the people around him that let him continue to be out in public like this and be making public statements. I thoroughly believe, with like, if I were to put money down on a bet, I would bet that we will get more offensive stuff from him within the next 12 months, and then 12 months after that an apology, and then 12 months after that some more offensive stuff, and that is a generous timeline. So,
Interesting.
nope.
Okay. Derek, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
It's a thumbs middle. Like, at the end of the day, I do believe in giving people second chances, all that good stuff. But also, it's important to recognize that when somebody apologizes, when somebody says, hey, my bad, I was out of line, it's not enough to just apologize. You actually have to follow through on it and do the behaviors that are required of you to show that you are actually, you actually went through whatever it is you said you went through, whatever it is you were apologizing, you were genuinely remorseful for. I don't think we'll get that, right? Like, to Nathan's point, I don't think we'll get that from him because this isn't the first time he's apologizing. I don't think it'll be the last. And at the end of the day, it's a weird thing to say, hey, my bad, my mental illness made me racist, my mental illness made me anti-Semitic. That's weird, right? Like, it's not like saying, like, hey, my mental illness made me push people away. That's not the same as I'm anti-Semitic. So it's very weird. And from what I understand, he just kind of released a statement on it, like a written statement, and that's it. So whatever, I think the better route from everybody would be to just ignore him, so that when the inevitable new album comes out or whatever, it flops.
Interesting. Okay. As the resident Black person of this pod, I have to say something. Here's the thing. Multiple things are true at the same time. In that, I genuinely believe that Kanye West was having a manic episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is actually true. And anyone who has had a modicum of experience of someone who acts out of their personality due to a mental illness, you're like, I love you, but I can't right now. Right? Like, I understand why you're acting this way, but I don't have the tools to help you in this situation, right? Because you're just a regular friend, family member, et cetera, right? That being said, that doesn't automatically make you anti-Semitic, but also he had some anti-Semitic people in his ear. Let's not forget, Candace Owens was egging this on this whole time, and the entire alt-right was egging this on. I do think people did take advantage of him.
Oh yeah,
they were fanning the flames.
Yes,
he lit. It wasn't reverse. It's not like, oh, I'm hanging out with Candace Owens and then I became this way. It was reverse. They hung out with him because he started being that way.
Yes.
But you're right. Yeah, it's definitely like multiple things are true at once. I hope he gets to a place where he can heal and be normal and not do this shit like clockwork every few months. I think probably the most controversial opinion I have around Kanye, though, is that he hasn't had a good album since Graduation.
Whoa!
He's got bangers.
That's not true.
He's got bangers.
You know that's not true.
He's got bangers. He's got good songs on those other albums.
Bro.
But once he started like experimenting and doing all this fucking 808s and all this shit, like,
are you kidding me? 808s is one of his best pieces of work. You know what? We can't have this conversation.
Sorry. You're right. 808s on Heartbreak is fine.
You're gonna tell me that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy isn't a good album, bro?
I'm not saying they're bad albums. I'm just saying. Sorry, I did say not a good album.
Yes, you
Like,
did.
that's what you said. I remember hearing that.
Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. What is it? What is it? It's like my glasses are unbreakable. My glasses are.
Oh yeah.
And then he breaks them. He's like, I don't care.
Oh gosh.
Let me rephrase. He's had fine albums, right? Like he's not a bad at what he does. But none of those albums post graduation, maybe 808s and Heartbreak.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best album, commercially and artistically.
When did that one come out?
I was in high school. It was like a soft, so like 2010.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Around 2010. Yeah. So in 16 years.
I feel like the wisest thing that Kanye West could do financially, and the people who are financially have financial interests in him, is for him to release one of these statements like the one he released, and then subsequently let that be the final note, retire from public life, and let nostalgia boost his music sales, because his music sales are also very down. He's offended a ton of people, lost a lot of fan support. If he lets the last note be, I regret all of it and I apologize, then nostalgia can come out, because he, unlike a lot of folks who have had boycotts from their fans, hasn't actually been brought to court, hasn't actually been held accountable in a way that brings a huge amount of shame on the listeners. You can have it be like, oh no, see, he was repentant and he changed, and now he can enjoy the residuals of people rediscovering him on a total cynical level. I think that's the best financial choice he can make.
It's like Shaq not retiring until he just was trash, right? Like, hey, you're already on the decline here, Kanye, right? Just call it a day, let nostalgia boost yourself, kind of like what Shaq should have done, right? Like he ended up getting traded, he ended up just being, he ended up playing for a bunch of teams and doing a bunch of shit after he was with the Heat, and it was just like, you should have retired after you were with the Heat, right? Like why are you still playing? I think you're right. That's what Kanye should do, is just kind of retire and let nostalgia, and then maybe make an appearance every now and then or whatever, and just call it a day,
Okay, we'll see. We'll do our Kanye West album review episode at another time.
We'll circle back.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But anyways, rest in peace, Kanye West's career. I hope you get the mental health treatment that you need. That's my opinion on it. Anyways,
sure.
Speaking of mental health treatment, a little Marvel show came out last week called Wonder Man, starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Ben Kingsley. Nathan has seen every single episode except the last episode, so this will be a quick non-spoiler thoughts section. So I want to start with you, Nathan. What did you think of Marvel's Wonder Man?
I love this show so far. I put off watching it until yesterday or the day before, because I'm kind of Marveled out lately. I love everything Marvel puts out individually. I'm exhausted and feeling like it's not part of a real through line. I just don't know what I'm invested in. So I held off on watching this. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's a really fun look at life in LA. I think it's a really fun look at mental illness and neurodivergency and processing our feelings. I really, really dig it.
Okay, all right. Derek, what'd you think of Wonder Man?
Wonder Man reinvigorates my hate for the fandom and what it has become.
Whoa!
Because dislike. Wonder Man is a great show. It's so well done. It looks beautiful. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully written. I don't want to spoil it because Nathan hasn't finished it yet, but just from the beginning to the end, it's great. But it's not your typical superhero, punch a criminal, fight an alien, laser beam kind of a superhero story. So let's say this was a movie, this shit would get shit on if it was a movie, right? The fandom would throw a fucking fit if this was a movie released in theaters. And so it reminds me of how much potential there is in bringing comic books to life, because there's comic books of all flavors just within Marvel, right? Like not even going outside of Marvel. There's silly comics, there's mysterious comics, scary comics, action comics, obviously, right? Um, and there's just so much potential to tell different types of story with different types of characters at different points of their lives. And we're probably never going to get that again, because that's just not going to make money. That's not going to satisfy the fandom that is craving just like, fight and punch and big muscles and comic books. And that's frustrating to me.
I agree.
Interesting. Here's the thing, Derek. Here's the thing. We have to be so fucking for real, Derek. Be so fucking for real. Because I will say this, although Wonder Man was an excellent show, it is a very good television show.
Mm-hmm.
We can't pretend that Marvel hasn't trained their audience on something different for the last 20 years. I mean, I'm not saying like the fans can't handle it, you know what I'm saying? But like Wonder Man is like, okay, you're going to a restaurant, your local restaurant, your local taco joint, right? Taco truck, whatever. And they're like, wow, we have this new thing. We're actually trying hot dogs. And it's like, you know what? I do like hot dogs. And then you start eating the hot dog and it's like, actually, it's made of taco meat. And you're like, I do enjoy that. But also, I kind of like, can we go stick where you're good at? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, here's the thing. I can't get invested in Wonder Man. I can't, because I know this shit doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter. We're never going to see Simon Williams again. Marvel Spotlight is cutting projects off at the knees. You know what I mean? And you train an audience to like expect how it's going to fit into the next one, right? And calling things Marvel Spotlight just lets it die on the vine. Nathan, what were you going to say?
See, that actually makes me like it more, because I don't believe that the things Marvel wants me to get invested in because of how it will pay off will ever pay off. Shang-Chi came out 45 years ago. We are never going to hear an end of why Carol Danvers was friends with the Hulk. We're never going to know what happened next in She-Hulk. We're never going to know these things that we were promised answers to, because Marvel has all of the follow-through of a baseball player turned backwards. They're never gonna hit the ball. Something I like about these spotlight stories is that there's no possibility that they're gonna undermine it. That it's just gonna exist as a nice thematic piece of art, the way art existed before art was all about how many times Spider-Man got referenced. You know, I get to enjoy.
I'm not asking for Spider-Man references. I'm not.
You're not,
like,
but
come on, dude.
You know that there are 900 accounts across social media and YouTube who are, I hate this Wonder Man show and this Moon Knight show because it didn't reference the character I wanted it to reference. And you know what? Wonder Man doesn't have to be that. They referenced Grapes of Wrath in this show and quoted Amadeus. I love it. And I miss my favorite things that Marvel does is when Marvel, like the MCU Marvel, when Marvel Studios goes out of the box and says, we're going to try something new. We're going to try something completely different, and it's going to be a whole different vibe, and it gets to be its own thing. I think those are also the most revisitable. Like, I don't have to watch Winter Soldier as how Winter Soldier is going to pay off in Civil War. I can just go back and be like, I'm in the mood for a heightened spy thriller. And I can watch WandaVision because it's about grief. I don't have to.
But also, those are payoffs.
Oh,
Winter Soldier is a payoff to Bucky.
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
You know.
I just think when they. Go ahead, Derek. I'm talking a lot.
No, we want you to talk a lot.
No,
You're a
that's
guest.
fine. Yeah. I just think that if all of this of what's going on with the MCU and the fact that all these unique different projects don't really end up going anywhere, and that they were all done 3-4 years ago and they're just getting released now with barely any sort of marketing and all that kind of stuff, I think it's all indicative of this late stage capitalism that we're in, that everything is just driven by the bottom dollar, There's no room for experimenting. There's no room for doing anything new like Wonder Man, or different and quirky like She-Hulk, or just fun like Miss Marvel was, right? That it's aimed towards a smaller section of the larger audience. You can't do that because it's not going to be profitable, at least not in the way that the studios want it, which is immediately and right now, and shareholder value needs to be immediate, and any sort of pop culture mainstream media backlash is going to fuck with all of that, right? And I have a theory that if Marvel Comics didn't exist and they were trying to get it off the ground now, it would not look the same. They would not have been able to do everything that they did 75 years ago, right? Because the way that the internet exists, the way that just people get paid nowadays is completely different. It's completely exploitative, unless you have like a team of lawyers backing you up. And then the audience reception is, like you said, Justin, trained in a way where they're not looking for like some sort of artistic or like commentaries from their superheroes anymore, which is ironic because that's how all of that was built. But instead, they're just looking for like that smash and fighting and action genre, which is fine too, but it doesn't leave much room for different and unique and experimental, that's the frustrating part for me.
I want to add to this. Because the people who are looking for that, the problem is that in the streaming age of capitalism, there isn't a way for that audience to find Wonder Man in a profitable way, because somebody who wants grounded TV shows that are going to explore emotional journeys and give them a one-off like mini series about these themes, they might not have a Disney Plus subscription. They might not be willing to spend the money for the 2 months. So, I'm gonna get Disney Plus for 1 month to watch Wonder Man. They don't care. And the ones that have Disney Plus already, yeah, they might find Wonder Man and like it. They might not. The audience isn't necessarily there already, and there isn't a way to boost sales through like the cult marketability the way there used to be with with aftermarkets back in the age of Blockbuster and DVD and other ways of making money after something was successful. Like, it would have been if this show had come out 15 years ago, even. If this show had come out 15 years ago, it was a miniseries on HBO or Showtime or something like that. And the audience would be like, "This isn't what we wanted." Give it 4 or 5 years, suddenly the DVD sales are doing great. It's a show that is available on the app as a marquee title. That's the other thing. That's the main thing that they want is they either want new subscriptions or they want enough positive word of mouth that it can be a marquee title that they can advertise when you first log into the app or when you're deciding whether or not to buy Disney Plus. And if the fans are mostly poo-pooing it, then you don't get that. Like She-Hulk, the reputation from She-Hulk became, as we all know, a bunch of people who'd never watched the show talking about how awful and feminist and terrible it was, which means they couldn't use She-Hulk's face to try to sell Disney Plus subscriptions.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It's annoying because it means that it can't find its audience later in a profitable way after the fact. The only profitable thing it can do is boost the value of Disney Plus.
Okay, we gotta keep it moving. We gotta keep it moving. We should have had a SBU episode on Wonder Man, but we'll talk about it later. Anyways, that was the end of Quick Hitters. That last story was not a quick hitter. But it's okay. We're going to keep it moving. This is the part of this show where we talk about some of the juicier stories that happened last week that deserve a little bit more time. And this does get a little bit more serious because we are going to be talking about some politics right now. So don't you dare skip on this podcast. We have to talk about how Don Lemon got arrested and a couple other Black journalists got arrested for covering a protest that was happening in a church. So in Minneapolis, with all the ICE raids that are going on, Don Lemon and a couple other Black journalists went to a church, which the rumor has it that the pastor is also a director at ICE, right? And as he was interviewing some of the churchgoers, ICE literally arrested him and his colleagues for no reason, unlawfully. And it's getting to a point where I don't think they care about following any rules anymore. You know what I'm saying? Derek, what did you think about Don Lemon and hashtag free Don Lemon?
I mean, I think if you're a longtime listener of the pod, you know exactly how I feel about this, and it's that it's bullshit. And you're absolutely right. They don't care about the law anymore. It's not about that. It's about showing strength in every possible form and deterring dissent in every possible opportunity that they can do that. The law that was broken, quote unquote, it has to do with basically like religious freedom and not obstructing the religious the mass that was going on or whatever, the prayer session or whatever that was happening at the church. But the thing is, if there's somebody to arrest for that, it would be the protesters. It would be the people that were protesting that, quote unquote, interrupted the religious service or whatever. Don Lemon, as a journalist, you don't even have to agree with me that he's a journalist or not, right? Don Lemon was not part of that, right? He was not protesting. He was not involved in the actual people that, quote unquote, interrupted the religious service. To an extent, journalists on both sides of whatever is happening do have that exemption. They do have that protection where, unless they're actively committing an actual crime, right? As long as they're in the capacity of that journalist role, they're exempt from that. People don't care about that anymore, right? Or sorry, this administration doesn't care about that anymore. They just want to silence what's actually happening, which is people getting rounded up in the streets and detained and taken away and disappeared and trafficked. And this is just the latest installment of all of that. I think what's interesting is that I think they targeted him specifically because he's now an independent journalist. He's no longer with CNN, so he's doing his own thing. So I think this was like a small potatoes type of easy, like, hey, arrest him. He doesn't have the backing of a major corporation anymore. But what they didn't count on is that everybody from CNN that used to work with him, whether they liked him or not, whether they were on good terms with him or not, they all came out publicly supported him. The journalism community came out and supported him. The people that have followed him, also are supporting him. They didn't expect this to be this big of a backlash. So now it has this much more visibility that doesn't work for their nefarious purposes anymore, right? Whereas before, what they probably had in mind was, we're going to arrest him and it's going to deter people from covering all the atrocities that we're committing. That I don't think that's the case. I think it's the opposite now, and we're starting to see it with just what's happening with ICE, even separate from Don Lemon. We're starting to see this backpedaling without having to verbally admit any wrongdoing, right? They demoted the lockjaw dude.
With the
His name's not
SS
Lockjaw,
jacket.
but yeah. They demoted him. Kristi Noem is apparently rumored to be next, where they're gonna, replace her. They're bringing the border czar dude in, and they're backtracking without having to admit any sort of wrongdoing, right? Whereas 2-3 months ago, that didn't seem possible, right? They could do no wrong, is what it seemed like in their eyes. So they're very much aware that the favorability and the public sentiment is starting to shift, which is good, but it also means that they're probably going to get creative and escalate things in different ways now. So not to be corny about it, but it's just one battle after another.
It's very clear that
get out.
I'm sorry.
Out.
I'm sorry.
It's good.
You know what? What the hell? What the heck, Derek? Nathan, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna
I am
say
stunned into silence.
I was gonna agree with a lot of what Derek said, and also expound on what I've seen as like the narratives to defend Don Lemon's arrest as well. So first, I was gonna agree. It's clear that the administration isn't happy with what in their eyes is just a lot of bad press out of Minneapolis. They don't care about the violence happening on the ground. What they care about is that it's on the 6 o'clock news and that people are talking about it in their living rooms and it's given Trump a bad name. That's all they care about. And going after journalists, I think, emphasizes that that's what they're after, is showing if you make this visible, if you talk about us, if you make us look bad, that's one of the things we have a problem with. And the narratives I've seen like defending the arrest are all like convoluted and contradictory, but they include like the one that he helped orchestrate the protests. So as one of the planners of it, he was involved in the interruption of this church service, but not just the interruption of this church service. It's private property, so it was trespassing on private property. And what was the other one? The idea that he can't really claim that he was there as a journalist because at one point he joined in the chants. And it's like, okay, well, that part's protected by free speech. Then you've got,
Right.
as far as the going on to private property, what do you think the sit-ins at restaurants were during the civil rights movement? Private property is not exempt from being a place where protests take place. And then finally, when it comes to protection of religion, it's protection of religion from your government, not from your neighbor who, is going to interrupt the prayer or whatever. You're not meant to lose your job over your religion, but somebody can say, "Hey, you're practicing your religion, and it's also contradictory to your actions." Like I'm a Christian, and I think that more Christians should be telling other Christians, "Hey, nothing that you're saying aligns with the faith you claim to believe. You're hurting people. You don't believe in Jesus, you believe in WrestleMania." So,
Listen, I mean,
I
the
think
official
it's
stance of still scrolling is still fuck ICE, and
yeah,
ICE should be abolished and
absolutely.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I am just like I said last week. I was like, what do you even do in this situation if they don't care about the rules?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
You know?
trickier. It's trickier. Every news story, every incident, it makes it more and more uh I don't even know what the word is. It's scarier with every day that passes
yeah.
because every day they prove that they don't care about what's going on. A bit of a sidebar, Liam Ramos, the kid that was detained with his father, was released from detention. The administration's already made it clear that they're going to appeal the judge's decision to release him. Like, what are we doing? Why are
Right.
we detaining 5-year-olds? Like, that's insane. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. So, to Nathan's point, I think about like what is or isn't legal. I think a detail that's overlooked with this whole Don Lemon situation is that they went to a judge to get the arrest warrant and the judge wouldn't sign it. They appealed it. That judge wouldn't sign it. But then they convened a grand jury, and that's how they got the arrest to be kind of legal, so to speak, right? And I think that right there speaks to where this administration has been most successful, which is that it has appealed to average everyday citizens into thinking, into distrusting the law, into distrusting the people in power so much, into distrusting journalists so much to the point where they think they know better than the actual subject matter experts on things, right? Like they needed to get a bunch of people together to convince them, hey, this guy broke the law, right? And I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me that they did that. And I get it. I get not wanting to just blindly trust the judge or the law either, but there has to be some sort of a common sense middle ground when it comes to like how we perceive our own interpretation of the law. And I think that a lot of people, especially people that lean right, have this idea that they know better and that they know everything and that they can't possibly be wrong when that's not the case, right? Like, I think most people should know enough to know that they don't know enough about most things. And we need to defer to people like judges and experts.
Well, I think we take
And,
for granted
and
that that's pretty wise. What you just said is a pretty wise thing to believe. I think something that I've been struggling to come to for a while is that I think we take for granted how many people around us are incredibly unwise and probably always have been. Like, that's not a new state in the world. It's just now incredibly unwise people have platforms and speak louder and have people around them trying to convince them, oh, actually, you're enlightened for being so ignorant. And the values held by the people who support this kind of behavior are values of my life should be, or my preferences in life should be the norm, and we would call that supremacy. But the norm, they believe that hurting someone is what you should do when someone is out of line in their perspective. They broke the rules, they should get hurt. They broke the rules, they shouldn't get treated fairly anymore. And then the third one is that somebody who comes around being what they would consider smug, someone who claims to know more than them, who's willing to put in that work, that person is actually an insult to them. Those are types of values and ethics that those people hold and that they're interpreting the world through.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm sorry if I come off elitist because I think people shouldn't die because they protested. Like,
But
I don't know how else.
They disrupted my day. They disrupted my day, and therefore they deserve to get beaten.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of getting beaten off, we need to talk about the Epstein files.
Oh. I was like, what? Where are you going with this?
That was a good transition. That was good. Come on. Last week, a huge chunk of the Epstein files got released last week. Over 3 million pages. Over 3 million pages of data that involves the Epstein conspiracy theory, which is no longer conspiracy theory, but notable things happened in the file drop. Turns out Elon Musk really wanted to do some illegal activities with Jeffrey Epstein. And Elon Musk was so uncool and such a vibe ruiner that they didn't invite him. They have pages of Elon Musk begging to do these illegal things. And what's more embarrassing? What's more embarrassing? Is it that you couldn't even get on the island to do the thing? Or like you got like that you even asked in the first place? Like I that's it's rough.
It's a whole embarrassment package.
Like you're not a criminal because you couldn't be a criminal.
Intent is still criminality.
You're not cool enough.
Exactly. Nathan, did you see any funky names in the Epstein list? I have a couple of surprises, but what stood out to you?
I have only seen the highlights, the Elon Musk email in which he writes like every annoying guy you would not want at your party, which just suddenly makes me like, oh my goodness, I know a bunch of people who, if they were billionaires, they'd be trying to get it on awful shit and also not successful because, again, a vibe killer. Hey, please, can I commit crimes too?
Oh my god,
milady.
Bill Gates got invited? You're telling me Bill Gates? You know what, Derek? What did you think? What was the most surprising thing that popped out to you about the Epstein files?
I mean, I think the most surprising to me, the most annoying thing to me from the Epstein files latest release doesn't have to do with anything that's in there, but more so how desperate people are to just paint this idea that politicians and celebrities that they don't like are satanic. I don't know how many posts I've seen floating around already that are like, the account it's like from an account called like Enlightened Person 73942, and it's talking about how like there's ritualistic sacrifice and George Bush Sr. was eating feces and dismembered infants and all this kind of shit. And it's like, guys, there's actual valid atrocious things that were happening in these files. Right. Let's focus on that. Why the fuck are you like reposting this random account that is not, you know what I mean? And then if you ask them about that, they'd be like, well, the mainstream media wouldn't want you to know. They're covering up. They're all in on it. And it just feeds this whole like conspiracy cycle. And I'm just in general very frustrated by conspiracy theories that are like that. Because I'm
Oh
not
my
saying
gosh.
everything is kosher and you know, no weird shit has ever gone down ever in the history of the world. Of course it has. But there's a line between like living in reality and like full-blown feeding into weird conspiracy theorists. And I've seen more of it happening from people on the left than people on the right, mostly because the people on the right don't want to acknowledge the Epstein files getting released, because it completely destroys their worldview and their, you know, support of Donald Trump. But there's these people that have prided themselves on like fact checking and living in reality and being empathetic and being well informed, and they're now all of a sudden sharing all this crazy shit that's not in the actual files. It's just random accounts, you know, clickbaiting for likes. uh that's been the craziest thing for me that I didn't expect. I thought that the crazy shit that's already in the files was going to be enough to kind of just satiate what, you know, the sense of justice that we've been yearning for over the past, you know, decade. But no, it's not. We also need to like add a bunch more conspiracy shit to it all, and it drives me mad.
Listen, here's the thing, Derek. I need everyone on this podcast to put on their tinfoil hats really quickly.
Mine's already on.
Because here's the thing. One conspiracy theory was proven true in this Epstein drop, right? And I'm going to sound insane, but unless you were on the internet during this time, it's hard to explain, but I'm going to try my best to explain it to you guys, right? This Epstein file drop is why people hate women in Marvel and Star Wars right now. I know that sounds insane. And here's the thing. Don't look at me like that, Nathan. Don't look at me like that. Here's the issue. In this Epstein files, we know that the CEO and the CEO of 4chan is in the Epstein files, right?
Gamergate.
And he met with Jeffrey Epstein and his wife to create the politics section of 4chan. In the politics section of 4chan, you have the most racist, sexist, misogynist, like eugenics talk that you could ever think of, right? And this is where we get like the twisting of the frog meme and all that stuff, chads and min-maxing, that all starts from this single place that is moderated by Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Where they artificially inflated false things. But some of those things that were inflated, conspiracy theories like QAnon, started on 4chan politics section. All that stuff. All the conspiracy theories about like, oh, they're doing this to the children, which they were actually doing. Jeffrey Epstein was doing. It was inflated by this thing, right? And now that politics section then went into Gamergate. And what happened in Gamergate is like, it started like, oh, we need a legitimate reason to take down this woman. And it became ethics in game journalism. And then that snowballed into other franchises like Marvel and Star Wars and things like that. And the rise of incel culture is so prominent today. You have TikTok kids talking about, oh, we need to maximize my jawline and stuff like that. That's eugenics. You're like, oh, you're literally, it all started here. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
No, you're right. Yeah.
You're right.
Like, oh my gosh. No, don't take me away. Don't take me away. I'm telling the truth. Listen. I know that sounds crazy. Derek, do you believe me? Because it happened in real time. I promise you.
Yeah, you know, like I hate to give credit to the bastard, right? But I think Jeffrey Epstein understood a lot about what he was doing, right? It paints him as even guiltier, right? Where you see it nowadays, you'll see like, you know, the bottom of the barrel MAGA influencers, and they'll be like, the Democratic playbook is simple. Create a crisis that doesn't exist and then complain about it and then save the day. And it's like, that's literally what Trump does. That's literally how MAGA works, right? So it's every like accusation is actually like an admission of guilt. And that's what they did with all of this, right? They spun this whole idea around QAnon and around how it's really the deep state Democrats and all this, that, and the
It
other.
all started on
Yeah.
4chan. That's
And
insane to me.
yeah, and really that's what was happening. Literally, what was happening with Jeffrey Epstein,
You may
right?
put it a new
So
way?
it is kind of wild that he.
Oh, Nathan, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Another way to put it is, when you know there are victims, then you just make new culprits. And that's how they work. It's like, oh, we know there are victims around. We know a crime has been committed. We're just going to point our fingers over here and say, well, it was actually these people, and these people are doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also on a much lighter note, but also somehow makes the man even guiltier. He got banned from Xbox Live.
That did happen.
That tracks.
The reason is so not dumb, but like because literally Bill Gates did some illegal things with Jeffrey Epstein, got an STD, asked Jeffrey for what was it, antibiotics, and when Jeffrey didn't give it to him, he banned him off of Xbox Live. What the actual heck? What like literally Bill oh my God, like I
don't understand why he just wouldn't go to the doctor. Was he all of a sudden paranoid?
He didn't want his wife to know.
Right, but just my man, you flew to a fucking island and you did this shit. Yeah, like gosh. You're a billionaire. You could figure this out.
I you know what? You know who did come out looking good is Russell Wilson, because he's in the Epstein files, and he immediately was like, "Hey, listen, I'm only in there because someone offered to like sell me Jeffrey Epstein plane, and I said no." And he did say no. That is true.
Yeah, there's a few politicians. Yeah, there's a few politicians that are in there too. That it's like, oh, it's not gonna. This evil thing or this shitty thing we're trying to do is not gonna work because X, Y, and Z politician won't budge or something. So like, yeah, there is a lot. It's 3 million pages worth of shit. I think the biggest thing for me is if you're listening, please, if you're learning something, if you're sharing something regarding the Epstein files, make sure it's legitimate, make sure it's fact-checked, make sure you're looking at it from various reputable sources, not like, MarvelGeekGamer.net, with a blog. And, just please make sure that if you're sharing information, it's legitimate, because when we spread stuff that's not valid, it really just makes it even that much harder to find justice for the victims and hold people accountable, which is really what we should all want from all of this, right? So,
true story. I don't think we have time for Am I the Asshole today, because now we're at a time, we've hit an hour, and I don't want to waste Nathan's time. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us this week. I really appreciate you stepping in. Where can the people find you, just in case?
Thank you so much for having me. I love being here, and people can find me on Twitter, or not Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. Threads, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at The Favoring Wind.
Nice. You can follow the podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and all that good jazz, and YouTube. And we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.
Bye.